Joseph Mercer stepped through his own front door after 10 days away. The house was quiet. Too quiet.
Number, that space. It can't be empty.
He walked into the living room, his legs suddenly heavier than lead. The Steinway Model B had been there every day for 41 years.
Margaret, I'm sorry, I wasn't here.
His hand trembled as he picked up the crumpled receipt from the kitchen counter. The ink was smudged but readable. Shaky handwriting spelled it out. Buyer D. Hoffman. Amount $500 cash for one antique Steinway grand piano.
Nicole, where is your mother's piano?
I sold it, Dad. It was just collecting dust. You never even play it anymore.
You sold her Steinway for $500 without asking me. I was in the hospital.
The call ended shortly after. Joseph stood alone, staring at the name on the receipt. D. Hoffman. The name meant nothing, but the hole in the room meant everything. The memory hit him as he stood there, Margaret at the keys, her hands dancing across ivory, the Steinway filling the room with Chopin.
She played every day, even sick. She made it to that bench.
3 weeks earlier, Joseph had checked into the hospital for heart surgery. He left Nicole with a key and a promise to look after the house.
Dad, I am cleaning out some of the clutter. The house needs to breathe.
Cleaning out clutter. She was gutting my life while I lay in a hospital bed.
He pulled out his phone and searched for D. Hoffman in the county records. An address came up, 2 hours away.
I am coming for that piano, D. Hoffman. Whoever you are.
He left without changing clothes. The drive stretched ahead, each mile winding the tension tighter.
What kind of man buys a Steinway for $500 without asking questions?
The address was in a small town called Halstead. Joseph pressed the accelerator and didn't look back. The address was a blue clapboard house with a well-kept garden. The porch light burned against the dusk.
This is where my wife's piano ended up. A stranger's house in a town I've never heard of.
Joseph knocked. The door opened almost instantly. The old man in the doorway had eyes that held a deep and quiet knowing.
I am Joseph Mercer. You have something that belongs to me.
You are Margaret's husband. I wondered when you'd come. Please, come in. It's in the workshop.
Joseph followed him through a living room cluttered with music scores and old photographs. The air smelled of wood polish and memory.
He said, Margaret, not the piano. Her name.
Daniel pushed open the workshop door, and golden light spilled out like a held breath. There, in the center of a cluttered but tidy room, stood the 1962 Steinway Model B. Margaret's piano. Joseph stepped forward, hand outstretched toward the keys. The piano looked exactly as he remembered, except it wasn't in his living room.
I am taking this piano home. I'll reimburse you the $500 right now.
That won't be necessary, because this piano isn't for sale.
You don't understand. That's my late wife's instrument. You can't just keep it.
Oh, I understand more than you know, Joseph. Do you know who I am?
Daniel knelt beside the piano and pointed to a small dark scar on the leg.
That cigarette burn. Margaret's father did it in 1947. She told me when I first tuned this piano in 1962.
Tuned it? This man knew Margaret.
And the serial number, 250,316. I've known it by heart for 56 years.
Joseph's legs gave out. He sank onto a work stool, staring at the man who had just dismantled all his rage.
I am Daniel Hoffman, the man who tuned this Steinway twice a year from 1962 until Margaret passed.
He opened a worn leather logbook. Every tuning date, every note, written in neat, fading ink.
She always made me tea afterward. She'd play Chopin to test my work. We became family. For the last 15 years, I refused her money. I told her I'd look after this piano as long as I lived. When I saw the Craigslist post last week, Model B, burn mark, serial number, I knew it was Margaret's. I drove over within the hour.
He bought it to protect it, while my own daughter sold it for pocket change. Why didn't you just call me? Tell me what she did.
I only had a name and an address. I wasn't sure if you knew, if you were part of it. I wanted to keep it safe first.
You did what family should have done.
The two men sat in the failing light, the piano between them, a bridge neither had expected to build.
I was in the hospital, Daniel. Heart surgery. My daughter was supposed to watch the house while I recovered.
She sold it while you were under the knife, without calling you?
She called it clutter, said the house needed to breathe. She took $500.
Then we're putting it back tonight, right now. I won't hear any argument.
I can't let you do this for nothing. Please, at least take the cash.
Not a penny. Margaret would never forgive me. She'd say it was a gift long ago.
Together, they maneuvered the grand piano onto a heavy-duty dolly, muscles straining with the weight.
Easy now. Watch the leg. This piano has been through enough already.
By the time the Steinway was strapped and blanketed in the truck bed, the streetlights had begun to glow.
2 hours home, and then I have to face Nicole.
The highway stretched dark and empty ahead, the truck's headlights cutting a narrow path through the night.
Margaret asked me once, years ago, to look after you if she ever couldn't. I didn't know how until today.
She was still taking care of me. From beyond.
The miles passed mostly in silence, each man lost in memory. Then Joseph's house came into view, and a second car sat in the driveway.
She's here. Of course, she is.
That her car?
Before Joseph could answer, the front door swung open, and Nicole stepped out. Her posture was already combative.
You went and got it? Seriously, Dad. It was just collecting dust.
Don't move, Daniel. Let me handle this first.
Joseph stepped out of the truck, the piano looming behind him like a ghost given solid form. Joseph stopped at the foot of the porch steps, the piano filling the driveway behind him like an accusation.
You actually drove 2 hours to fetch a piece of furniture? I told you, it was just taking up space.
That piano was your mother's soul, Nicole, and you sold it for a handful of cash.
Joseph brushed past her into the house, Daniel a quiet shadow. The living room felt even more hollow under the foyer light.
This is Daniel Hoffman. For 56 years, he tuned your mother's Steinway. He bought it to save it from you.
Oh, so some stranger cares more about a piano than I do. How touching.
Joseph's gaze swept the room, landing on empty shelves. The silence stretched between them like a fraying rope.
Where is the crystal vase from your great aunt? The silver jewelry box from our wedding?
I sold them too. You never even looked at them. Why are you making this such a big deal?
Every missing item was a fresh wound. The betrayal was not just the piano. It was the systematic erasure of Margaret herself.
You are impossible, Dad. Enjoy your stupid piano.
She shoved past him and stormed out. The door slammed behind her with a final hollow crack.
She took everything. Daniel, there's nothing left that was Margaret's. I need to file for guardianship review. She can't have legal control over me or this house anymore.
He reached for his phone on the side table, hands trembling, and dialed his lawyer.
Mr. Calloway, it's Joseph Mercer. I need to start the paperwork for a guardianship review against my daughter.
Daniel stood by the counter, his face pained but resolute. He nodded once.
You are doing the right thing, Joseph. Margaret would understand.
I never thought I'd have to protect myself from my own child.
On the kitchen table, a pen lay beside a notepad, the first line already scrawled. Petition for review. The next morning, Joseph sat across from Mr. Calloway. The guardianship petition spread between them on the polished desk.
I am signing away whatever trust I had left in her, but I have no choice.
Daniel was called in to give a sworn statement. his hand raised and voice steady.
I bought that Steinway for $500 within an hour to keep it safe. It's irreplaceable to Joseph.
The process server found Nicole at her apartment the next afternoon. She snatched the papers, her face twisting.
Guardianship review? He's trying to strip my rights over some dusty furniture. This is insane.
She threw them to the floor and grabbed her phone, voice cracking as she dialed her own attorney. At Joseph's house, a certified letter arrived confirming the hearing date. 2 weeks.
2 weeks to prepare. 2 weeks until a judge decides if my own daughter can be trusted.
We'll get through this, Joseph, together.
3 days before the hearing, a knock came at Joseph's door. He knew the rhythm. Frantic, uneven, older than her anger.
Dad, please. Just open up. I need to explain. I was wrong.
You've done enough explaining, Nicole. I am not dropping the review.
I am your daughter, your only child. You are going to throw me away over a piece of furniture?
Joseph cracked the door, his eyes empty. The space between them held years of neglect beyond the piano.
You sold her piano. You sold my trust. There's nothing left to discuss.
Then you are dead to me. I hope that piano keeps you warm at night.
Daniel appeared in the hallway, his cardigan rumpled, positioning himself as a quiet barrier between Joseph and the storm.
Stay out of this, old man. You are not family.
He didn't answer. She stormed off, and later Joseph sat alone on a park bench, the evening settling like a bruise. The morning of the hearing, Joseph put on his best suit. Daniel drove, neither man speaking much on the way. In the small courtroom, Daniel took the stand first. He described the Steinway's history and the Craigslist ad he'd recognized instantly.
The moment I saw that listing, the serial number, the burn mark, I knew it was Margaret's. I bought it within the hour to keep it safe.
Nicole's attorney tried to paint him as a sentimental stranger, but Daniel's logbook spoke louder than any cross-examination. Then Nicole was called. Her voice started confident, but under the weight of her own receipts, it crumbled.
I didn't know it meant that much to him. I just needed the money.
The judge's voice was calm and final. The court finds Nicole Mercer has acted against her father's interests. Guardianship is revoked.
It's over. The piano stays, but a part of my family ends today.
Outside, the afternoon light felt different. Joseph and Daniel embraced on the courthouse steps. No words needed. And later, through the bay windows, the Steinway stood again in the afternoon light, exactly where Margaret had left it in every way that mattered. That evening, Daniel sat on the piano bench, tuning hammer in hand. The instrument was still slightly out of pitch after the move.
Let's bring her voice back. It's been silent too long.
The first clear note rang out, steady, true. Joseph closed his eyes, the sound washing over him.
I didn't realize how much I missed that sound. It's like she's still here.
Daniel worked through the keys, each adjustment a small act of restoration, not just for the piano, but for the man listening.
Stay for dinner, Daniel. Please. It's the least I can offer after everything.
They ate at the kitchen table, a simple meal of leftovers and warm bread. The piano, now freshly tuned, stood silent in the next room.
I haven't shared a Sunday meal with anyone in years. This is good.
Then it's settled. Every Sunday, I could use the company, and the piano needs its tuner.
And for the first time since Margaret passed, the house held not just music, but the promise of it every week together. Over the following weeks, Daniel returned every Sunday with tools and stories. Joseph's hands learned the feel of ivory polish.
I haven't touched these keys since she passed. I was afraid.
She'd want you to play, not perfectly, just honestly.
Joseph pressed a simple C major chord. The sound filled the room like a long-held breath.
I thought I'd never laugh again. But last Sunday, You made me forget for an hour.
That's what Sundays are for. We'll look after this piano and each other.
They found a rhythm. Daniel tuning, Joseph learning, the Steinway humming under their shared care.
Nicole is still out there somewhere, but I am no longer alone in here.
You are not, Joseph. And I am not either.
And week by week, the house remembered how to hold music again. The piano had always been the start. One Thursday, a thick envelope arrived in Joseph's mailbox. The handwriting was Nicole's, hurried older than he remembered. Inside, a single page. Dad, I've been thinking about what I did. I didn't understand what that piano meant. Can we meet? Just for coffee, Nicole.
Are you going to meet her?
I have to hear her out, but on my terms.
The coffee shop was busy enough to fill the silences. Joseph chose a table by the window and watched the door.
Dad, thanks for coming. I don't even know where to start.
Start with the truth. Why did you sell everything? You can be part of my life again, Nicole. But you'll never sit at that piano, never touch it. That's a line I can't cross.
I understand. I'll earn your trust back, however long it takes.
Back home, Daniel was waiting with fresh coffee. How did it go? He asked. Joseph gave a single nod. She's still my daughter. I'll see her again. A year later, Nicole came to the house without calling first. She held a small velvet box, her knuckles white.
I found it at a pawn shop in Halstead. The locket, Mom's locket.
Joseph opened the box. Inside, the silver locket gleamed, the chain still tangled from the day it was sold. He placed it on the mantel, next to Margaret's photograph. No words passed between them. That Sunday, Daniel noticed the new addition as he set the table.
She's trying.
Trying isn't trust, but it's a start.
Over the following months, a few more pieces returned. A silver candlestick, a worn photo album. Nicole never stayed long. The living room felt less hollow, yet the piano remained the only thing she never asked about.
The locket was back, but trust, that would take years.
5 years had passed since the guardianship review. The Steinway had never been out of tune since. On a mild autumn Sunday, the living room filled with neighbors in folding chairs. Daniel sat at the piano, Joseph beside him.
This piece was Margaret's favorite. She played it for me on a rainy Tuesday, years ago.
His fingers found the keys, and Chopin's Raindrop Prelude filled the space, each note a conversation with the past.
She's still here, in every note.
When the last chord faded, Joseph stood, holding a rolled parchment tied with twine.
I hereby name Daniel Hoffman, honorary technician, to this Steinway, in perpetuity. No payment accepted, as always.
I'll have to frame this next to my tuning log.
They toasted with sparkling cider, the living room ringing with laughter. The piano stood center, gleaming as if it approved.
I never imagined the living room could feel this full again.
Months later, Nicole arrived for Sunday dinner with a young boy gripping her hand. She stood at the door like a stranger still seeking permission.
Is it okay if we come in? He wanted to meet his grandfather properly.
Of course. You are always welcome.
Throughout the meal, Nicole's eyes kept drifting toward the piano, but she asked nothing.
Dad, could we listen to you play? Just sit and listen.
She's finally asking the right question.
I'll play something soft. Margaret's favorite.
Daniel's fingers settled on the keys, and a gentle waltz filled the room. Nicole's shoulders began to shake. Joseph moved to her chair and placed a hand on her shoulder. She didn't pull away. The piano's last note hummed in the silence, and the boy whispered, "That was pretty." The family, however scarred, was still a family. 11 years after the piano returned, Joseph, now 79 and entirely white-haired, sat at the bench. Daniel, 85, listened from his usual armchair.
She always played this one when it rained. I want to try it today.
Claire de Lune. Suits the evening light. Go on then.
Joseph's gnarled fingers found the opening chord. The melody bloomed, fragile and sure, filling every corner of the room. Daniel closed his eyes, the music washing over him like water, over old stones. Time seemed to fold inward.
I can still see her in every note.
At the final shimmering chord, a tear slid down Joseph's cheek. The room held its breath.
She would have corrected your pedaling, but you played it with her heart.
That's all I wanted. To play it with her heart.
The piano stood between them, not as a monument to loss, but as a vessel for all the love the room had ever held. On Joseph's 80th birthday, the piano stood as the centerpiece, its lid a table for cards and small wrapped gifts. Daniel guided Nicole's son through his first scale on the Steinway. The boy's small fingers pressed C, E, G uncertainly.
That's a C chord. It holds the whole piece together, just like a good Sunday dinner.
In autumn, Joseph and Daniel raked leaves in the garden, the piano's silhouette visible through the window. The chessboard sat by the piano, their after-dinner ritual. Neither man cared much who won. Sunday dinners had grown to include neighbors Nicole and her son. The house was rarely quiet now. Joseph kept a journal on the side table. He wrote about the piano tunings, the chess games, the ordinary miracles. They still toasted every Sunday to Margaret. Joseph would say, "To Margaret," Daniel replied. The piano always held a vase of fresh daisies, a habit Margaret had started, and Joseph never broke. Late in the evening, Joseph would rest his hand on the closed lid, a silent good night to the music and to her. One still afternoon, Daniel handed Joseph a leather-bound journal. The first page read, in careful script, for Joseph.
I thought you might need a place for all those Sunday memories you keep talking about.
You've given me more than I'll ever write.
Joseph sat at his desk, pen hovering over the first blank page. The piano waited behind him, patient. He wrote, "Today, Daniel taught me how to let go. The music stays." He closed the book and looked out across the room. The bay window framed the garden in gold. Later, they settled on the porch, 2 glasses of sweet tea sweating against the evening air.
You know, Joseph, I never imagined I'd have a brother at my age.
Neither did I.
Through the window, the piano sat in the amber quiet, waiting for the next Sunday, the next song, the next ordinary miracle. The living room was still, filled only with afternoon light and the weight of memory. The piano waited without a single fingerprint on its keys. Without a hand, a key sank, the soft press of felt on string. A single note bloomed, low and resonant. The same C Margaret used to test every tuning. The sound hung in the amber air, a golden thread connecting 50 years of music to this single afternoon. On the lid, a small brass plaque caught the sun. It read, "In memory of Margaret who gave us music." The note began to fade, but the silence it left was not empty. It was full of Sunday dinners, of laughter, of 2 old men who had become brothers. The piano stood its ground, a quiet guardian of every ordinary miracle the house had ever held. And in that amber stillness, the promise of next Sunday waited, as certain as music itself. For Margaret,